Want to learn English without boring lessons? Listening to real, exciting stories helps your brain pick up grammar and vocabulary naturally. No memorizing, no pressure, just fun. So enjoy this story and let your English improve while you're entertained. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications so you never miss our daily English stories. Jack had never planned to spend the night at an airport. He had made many travel mistakes before, like forgetting his toothbrush or packing too many shirts. But this was different. This was a full night alone, with no bed, no hotel, and no idea how it had happened. It all began with a simple flight. Jack was in Italy, enjoying the warm weather and beautiful food. After a week in Rome, he was flying to Berlin, but the cheapest flight he found had a layover in Munich. He didn't mind. A few hours in Munich airport didn't sound too bad. He would walk around, maybe buy a pretzel, and wait for his connection. His ticket showed one flight arriving in the evening and the next one leaving early the next morning. Jack looked at the times and thought, "That's not too long. I'll be fine." What Jack didn't realize was this. When airports close for the night, they really close. He arrived in Munich as planned. The airport was bright and clean. Signs were in both German and English. Everything looked modern. He followed the signs for connecting flights, then found a quiet area with big windows. Outside, the sky was turning dark. Inside, the light stayed warm and steady. He sat on a bench, opened a book, and began to read. A few people walked by. Some carried small suitcases. Others looked tired. Jack wasn't worried. He felt calm, even a little excited. This was part of the journey. Around midnight, things started to change. The airport became quieter. Shops began to close. The announcement stopped. Fewer people walked by. The floor cleaners came out. A voice on the speaker said something in German, then in English. The terminal is now closing. All passengers must exit to the public area. Jack blinked. He didn't understand. "Exit," he said to himself. An airport worker came by, looking at each bench. He asked Jack something in German. Jack shook his head and answered, "English?" The man nodded and said, "You must go out now. The gates are closed." Jack stood up. "I have a flight in the morning. You can check in later. This area is closing." Jack walked slowly with his backpack. He followed a few other people through wide glass doors. They entered a large, quiet hall with plastic chairs and vending machines. This was not the same clean and quiet terminal. This was the public zone. The airport after hours. It felt cold. The lights were too bright. The chairs were hard. A group of students sat in the corner, talking softly. A man slept on the floor, with a coat over his face. A woman was charging her phone and eating from a paper bag. Jack looked around and realized he was going to spend the night here. There were no beds, no quiet rooms, and no soft music. Only cold air, bright lights, and tired faces. He found an empty row of chairs and sat down. He tried to stretch out, but the chairs had metal bars between them. He couldn't lie flat. His backpack was his pillow. His jacket was his blanket. He closed his eyes. Then he opened them again. A noise came from the vending machine. A coin dropped. Someone laughed nearby. Then someone coughed. Jack checked his phone. Still many hours to go. He tried again to sleep. He crossed his arms and leaned back. He turned to the side. Nothing worked. His back hurt. His neck was stiff. His feet were cold. Time moved slowly. He stood up and walked around. He passed a closed bakery and a row of locked doors. A security guard watched him but said nothing. Jack bought a bottle of water and a chocolate bar. He sat near a window and looked outside. It was dark. Nothing moved. He opened his book again, but his eyes didn't focus. He waited. By early morning, more people began to arrive. A woman with a small child. A man in a business suit. Two friends with big suitcases and loud voices. Jack felt jealous of their energy. He felt like a ghost. Finally, the check-in desks opened. Jack got in line. The airport was waking up. Lights changed. Doors opened. Coffee shops lit their signs. He passed through security again and entered the terminal. It looked different now. More alive. But Jack didn't care. He found a seat near his gate and sat down. He rested his head on his backpack and closed his eyes. He didn't sleep, but at least it was quiet. His flight to Berlin boarded on time. Jack walked slowly down the jet bridge. Inside the plane, he found his seat, buckled his belt, and leaned against the window. He didn't remember takeoff. He was already asleep. When he woke up, they were landing in Berlin. The sun was shining. People clapped softly. Jack stretched and smiled. He was tired. His back hurt. But he had made it. Later that day, when he told the story to the owner of his Berlin hostel, the man laughed and said, "Ah, yes, Munich. Beautiful airport. Terrible for sleeping." Jack laughed too. He had learned something important. Never assume the airport is open all night. Always check the details. And next time, maybe pay a little more for a better flight. Great work. You listened to a full story in English, and along the way, your brain picked up useful grammar, vocabulary, and sentence structure. This is how natural learning happens. We post new stories every single day. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you never miss one. Now it's your turn. Have you ever missed a flight or had to sleep in an airport? What would you do in Jack's situation? Share your thoughts in the comments. We read every one.